Hello and welcome, NASCAR Inside the Race live edition post Richmond. Joined by my buddy from MRN, Todd Gordon. I'm your host, Steve Letarte. Todd, you were in Richmond.
Yeah.
I mean, a year later, the same result. We have a lot to break down, but I think we'd be an absolute miss if we just cannonball right in, right? Weekend winners has to go to Austin Dillon. A year ago, I didn't believe it in practice. The three had the speed. I said, man, seen this before out of guys. Will the speed really be a win? Can he pull it off? He was the best car. I think that gets lost when he wrecked the 22 and the 11. He had the best car, a late yellow in a restart. He gave it up, and that's when the chaos ensued. We go back a year later. He's fast in practice. Do I feel like I'm watching 2024 all over again? The three was unreal.
Yeah, I thought they, and really good late when the track cooled down. It seemed like the same story as we saw last year. Just it was all right. He was top 10 most of the day, but that last stage seemed like it really came to him. You see him battling Blaney here. What a great battle that was. About 12 laps of side by side, but he got control of race at this point in the first one to pit road, and they did what they needed to do. They've had really good long run pace, especially late in these races at Richmond.
I think it's amazing that they don't have a lot of chances to win, and here they have a chance to win and they execute, because a lot of other guys I think had maybe not winning speed, but good cars, lacked execution. I see all the chats, guys. I'm in my home office, so I see RCR in the playoffs. A bunch of fans are commenting that. I see Let's Go William Byron. We are going to talk about the regular season champ. So if you're in the chat, throw me a comment, throw me a question. Todd and I will try to answer it. We got a full day today. All right, we've heard, courses for horses. We've heard the one track this. There are all these cliches. What's the story? Is it setup? Is it driver? Are we not giving Austin Dillon enough credit? Because I'll be honest, his teammate has won over 60 of these things, and he's a multi-time champ. And now for the second Richmond trip in a row, he just outran everyone with any sort of technical or teammate alliance with RCR.
Yeah, I think Austin's got a really good understanding of taking care of tires, and that's what Richmond's about. I mean, it doesn't matter whether it's last year on option tires and prime tires. He was really good last year on the harder tire, which to me is where a driver excels. That's where he comes out not overslipping the tire, but finding pace without abusing the tires, and he's done a good job of it. And showed it again this year. Just late in the run, he was really good at making pace deeper into the runs. That's when he ran down Blaney there and got to the side-by-side race, which eventually led to the win.
I got worried first. So it was a chaotic race. We're going to talk about that as well. But I got worried because Blaney came to pit road just a lap earlier in the next to last cycle, jumped in front of Dillon. I'm just going to call out the times, right? They were almost 0.6 of a second faster in their pit box both times. So the 12 crew outperformed the 3 crew just in raw speed. But then Dillon ran him down, and that's the battle you were just referencing. But it took a long time. So I thought like the 3 had kind of tripped up a little bit. But I'm going to give credit to, remember, new crew chief Richard Boswell. And if you don't know Richard Boswell and you don't know the name, this is the walk-off winner from Darlington last year with Chase Briscoe. He's a Stuart Haas Racing kind of disciple. He came out of that SHR shutdown. RCR picked him up. I laugh because when I look at Austin Dillon, him and Justin Alexander are kind of the magic mix. Every time they go back together again, they seem to always win. Bravo, because I like Richard. I'm a huge fan of Richard Boswell. He drove late models. He's an engineering mind. He has all the mixes, I think, for being very successful. And he reacted. So the 12 beats him to pit road, the pit stall the time before, loses control of the race. And that's what we talk about, right? It's not just the lead, Todd, right? It's control. But then on the last cycle, he passes the 12, and damn, next lap he comes to pit road. Richard Boswell's like, no way I'm getting beat to pit road again. And it almost forced the 12 and the 48 to run like 4 laps long, because then you're kind of like, well, dang, I can't come 1 lap. That's not enough tire advantage. We need to run 4 laps. It was a fun chess match that these really soft gumball kind of Goodyear tires provided.
And you and I, as crew chiefs, I mean, when you get a car that's better than your competition in the long run, it's kudos to Richard for, I'm going to pass you, and now I've still got the best car on old tires, but I'm going to short pitch you so I don't end up behind you. That's just really aggressive, good strategy call.
You know what I liked? That was, Austin, a lot might overlook you, but I don't. I'm going to give you the ball. If I'm the first guy to pit road, we are going to cycle the lead. That's just how the math's going to work. And I, the crew chief, believe in you, believe in our car, believe in you as a driver, that if I give you control, I feel you can save that rear tire. And that's actually what AD said in his post races. So why are you so good here? And I loved a little bit of the swagger. He was had some humility and self-acceptance when he goes on high grip racetracks. I feel like I don't fire off fast enough. I can't attack like these other guys. But if you take somewhere that I have to manage tires, his exact words were, I'll put myself up against the best any day. I like the swagger, and man, I'd love to call him out, but twice I've seen this 3 do burnouts on the front stretch at Richmond. So I'm going to have to just tip my hat to the driver of the 3.
Yeah, and even more impressive is the fact that he did it in the same manner 2 years in a row. And you would think that once is a fluke, but this is just what he can do. And you see it a lot in the video that we played there, the B-roll there. He exits turn 4 low, straight, not sliding the rear tires, but making forward drive. He does a really good job at this place and understands it, and it shows out. And it shows up later in the race as the racetrack gets the most rubber in it. You really don't see it, but the racetrack's losing grip, and he just manages his tires. And kudos to the whole team for executing under pressure, because this was their best opportunity. Daytona next week could be anybody's, but you have to see it that they're 25th in points. They know they've got to have a win, and it was in front of them, and they all executed through it, didn't fumble.
Yeah, this is the line graph of position. There was so much going on pit road. It was really hard to figure out who was good, who wasn't. But the 3 was really good all day. You can see the angle after his first, pretty basic to the first pit stop, leaves his first pit stop in stage 1, climbs right up inside the top 10. And then he just manages the top 10 the rest of the day. Well, it's not just Todd and I. We got a third voice on today's Inside the Race, a guy that has not only raced at Richmond in a cup car, but he was just there in a truck. And he's decided, for better or for worse, to turn his podcast microphone this year into a network microphone, and joined me on the Amazon coverage and the Amazon pre-race. There he is. I'm still not sold on the stash. Still not. Top 5. I'm going to let you keep it. But Corey LaJoie, welcome to the show, my man.
What's up, Stevie, Todd? Good to see you guys. Yeah, so, I mean, rumor has it, Stevie, and you would know this, that no driver in the history of NASCAR with a mustache has ever finished outside the top 5. So that rings true again this weekend. Top 5 in the modified race, top 5 in the truck race. And I enjoyed that conversation with you here about how tricky Richmond is, because that is a fickle you know what. And Austin Dillon has the grips on it. So I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah, so that's my question. I can imagine having an advantage in setup. I can, that's the world that Todd and I lived. Mm-hmm. I think they executed extremely well. I think they called a great race. Is it a trick? Is it a concept? Is it a comfort? How is Austin Dillon? And I'll just label it. I'll be the bad guy. I won't make you two do it. I'm going to say front half of mid-tier. Most weeks, not at speedways and not some other places. Like he's not that A guy. He's not in if you look at your DraftKings odds every week, he's not on page 1, right? But how can he instantly be dang near a favorite when we go to a certain racetrack?
Well, we can sit here and talk about this all day, because we could talk about how razor thin the edge of tire grip with these next gen cars is. Smaller sidewall, these things don't have the yaw moment that the old cars have. And you have to go to the point of no return. Right, you look at guys like Kyle Larson, Chris Bell, Chase Briscoe, Carson Hocevar. These guys don't mind being on 99.9% of the grip when you go to a place where if you step over it, you're going to bust your butt. And Richmond's a place where you can't go 99.9% of the tire because you're going to burn them off. So I think where Austin's level of comfort on the tire, it kind of levels out, and also his dirt racing background allows him to have better longevity with tire degradation. And Todd mentioned it. He's got that unique line down the front straightaway that he's cutting distance, but he's also getting away from all the rubber laid down on the outside of the straightaway, because I'm not just telling you this, Stevie, because you were on the broadcast. You guys did a phenomenal job covering it, of just explaining in-car cameras, Jeff Burton as well, how hard it is to squeeze power down. And when you're a lane off the bottom or lane off the top down the straightaway, you can get a lot of left rear traction. And I think Austin does that better than anybody. And obviously the feel in that 3 car they've given, and they've found it, and it's reflected year over year. And man, it pumped me up to see Austin get that win last night.
It was impressive. So I said this on the broadcast. I want to make sure you agree, and please disagree if I'm wrong. But when I talk about tire conservation, I feel like when we drop the green flag at Las Vegas, I don't care how long the race is, it's like a 100-yard dash. You come out of the block and you go as hard as you can go, and you just believe you have enough air in your lungs to go for 500 miles. And when I watch Richmond, it's kind of like we're pacing, a mile or even a longer race, right? And it's kind of like, or actually the truth is, you can run a 400-yard dash, you can run a mile, or you can run a marathon, depending on how long you have to run on that set of tires. And it's my job to tell you, the driver, when we fire the gun off and we go, how long I need you to run. And I see that from the boot. Like, I see 2 or 3 corners to kind of get where you need to get, and then a big sigh. And then they kind of settle in and they really start to get in that rhythm.
Well, I think also what I saw, I was driving the motorhome back from Richmond, so I was kind of like one eye on the road, one eye on my phone watching. Probably shouldn't have admitted that, but I was. And a lot of it, not a lot of it, some of it is where you come out position-wise in clean air or not when you cycle around. And Richard Boswell had a great call to pit several laps, 4 or 5 laps before the 12, which I was a little bit questioning about why they came so late. But then he was in the catbird seat with a built-in gap to then manage the race. But that was uber exciting between the tire fall off, some guys going 2-stop strategies, 3-stop strategies. It made it super interesting to watch. There was a lot of comers and goers, but the guys who had good cars, the 11, right, had a lot of adversity, a couple pit road penalties, got caught up in that wreck and was able to work his way forward. The 19 came back, the 24 came back. The guys who have a good feel, keep the tires on it, were able to cycle through. But that's the game, right? Do you want to rifle off and try to make as much time on stickers as you can and then just hope to God your car hangs on the last 15, 20 laps of the run? Or am I going to give up a 10th and a half the first 10 laps of the run to hopefully gamble or bet that my car is going to hang on a little bit better and I can get past these guys on old tires? But it seemed like the 3-car had both. He had enough fire-off speed to maintain when he needed to, and then the long-run speed in that 3-car was as good as anybody.
That's how Todd did it. Every time Todd beat me at a short track, his stuff would just fire off on new tires, get in front of me, and then I could never get back to my.
Well, you saw it with when the 12 and the 3 were running side-by-side on the last run there. They ran side-by-side for 10 laps.
Anyway.
And I can't explain to you how slow you feel like you're going, and you're trying to ask this big hunk of metal to turn, to stop, to go, and it doesn't want to do any of it. You're just trying to squeeze power, and try to get a little bit of turn, and that guy just stays on your right rear, on your right front. And I thought that was incredible racing because it's just 2 guys sliding around, trying to get position, and ultimately we saw the best car and also probably the best driver at Richmond in the last, 16 months take the win. So I'm glad AD got it the right way this time. But Todd mentioned it earlier. He was in the same position last year. The late caution was the one that gumballed it all up and made him have to make decisions that he probably regrets.
Yeah, and you looked at it last year, and you talked a little bit about sometimes you got to be willing to give up on the front side, and his mentality is so good about that. And last year, all of a sudden, when you have that caution and a green-white checker on tires, you got to flip the switch and be in a different mode, and not necessarily where you've been all race long. I think that hurt him. But Corey, talk about it. You've been there and sat there. It's hard to give up on the front 10 laps, knowing you're not making passes you can make, to have that long-term vision, right?
Well, I'll say honestly, Richmond is the bottom of my favorite tracks because I've just struggled to get the feel there. I've ran good a couple of times, had 2 good races this weekend, one in the modified, ran fifth in the truck race. So that was nice. But with the Cup car, it was always a bit of a struggle. And also, like, you see a guy like, Corey Heim, for example, teammates to 2 cars who in the beginning part of the race were fast.
Really good.
67, we all know.
And what could have been, right? Let's remind everybody what could have been, because the 45 got wrecked.
Right.
And
Bubba
the
had a tire
23 was
fall
running second when his wheel came off. So we don't really know where they could have been, right? Maybe that was the opening that the 3 needed.
And we all know what Corey Heim's capable of doing. He's, hasn't lost a truck race all year, it doesn't seem like. And he has to go out, open car, goes out first or second to qualify, doesn't have that track position, and just kind of mired back in traffic when the cars are pretty comparable. So you can make the case, okay, like, car setup is important, yes, but driver's feel for a particular racetrack, like Austin's or Denny Hamlin, he's like the reigning favorite. He just has a grasp on on Richmond like SVG does any road course. And that's what I was curious if we wanted to get in that conversation of like, there's everybody's up in arms, right? The guy that's 28th or 27th in points wins, gets in the playoffs. I don't have a problem with that.
Well, let's talk about it. Let's set the playoff picture. Let's have that whole conversation because that's on it, right? So playoff pressure cooker, it's a segment we do every week. Let me go ahead and tell you, whether you like it or don't like it, it's very clear. There are 14 winners there locked in. Tyler Reddick, 89 points above. Bowman, 60 points above. Busher, 60 points below. If you're below the line, if you don't stand in victory lane, then you're out of the playoffs. It's that simple. We can do the math, but it doesn't matter. The only points battle that could happen is between Bowman and Reddick, and that would be if we have a new winner. Todd and I were talking pre-show. We give it a, what do we say, Todd? 30%?
I'd say 30%. 1 and 3, 1 and 4.
For a new
chance
winner.
Of a new winner. I mean, there's so much talent below the line that you can't rule it out, and they're hungry and they're desperate. So I think they make big moves. So I think it's a better than 1 in 4 chance.
Yeah, so we don't want to make some hyperbole and say, oh, it's a 50-50 chance. No, there isn't. It's a 1 in 4 chance we're going to have a new winner. A lot of great cars have already won. I think there's a better chance we have a new winner than Bowman makes up 29 points on Reddick.
Yeah.
I think 29 points is basically insurmountable unless Reddick wrecks early. And I would say there's a really good chance starting stage 3 that we can rubber stamp Reddick, because if Bowman doesn't score 15 or 18 points better than Reddick in the stages, there's just not enough points available, or if we have a big wreck early. So back to your original statement, I'm great. I don't have a problem with a team that's 26th or 28th in points winning themselves into the playoffs, because that's the format and everybody knows what it is going in there. You were one of the drivers that were just outside the top 30, was dang near winning it at Atlanta. You felt this. So before I give it my opinion as an analyst, give me your opinion as a competitor. Did it hurt your feelings at all that you were 31st? Did you think it was any less value? Like, you were racing the system, but what was your opinion when you looked in the mirror and been like, man, am I going to be okay if I win from 31st?
So I would take it a little bit different direction. I would say that, yes, is there the overall value of you as a race car driver is that you are elite, or your floor of what your tracks are bad at is way less than how many tracks are good at, right? Denny's won on pretty much every type of racetrack. If SVG has honed his skills for his entire life on road courses, why shouldn't that be rewarded or celebrated for how much he is annihilating the field and raising the bar and challenging everybody in the street course? Why does, all the talents and the time that Austin Dillon's honed his skills, why shouldn't those pay off at a particular racetrack in Richmond, pay off to the playoffs? Now, there's that element, right, of strengths and weaknesses of race car drivers. As a TV guy now, Stevie, like you mentioned, it creates storylines. If this is and I could take it or leave whatever playoff championship, because as a competitor, you're going to race to the rules you're given.
That's right.
As somebody in the media, we're all sitting here talking about storylines. If we're sitting here 10 races ago or 11 races ago, we're not talking about the guy 15th or 16th in points. We're just not. And then 3 weeks from now, we're not talking about the guy 11th or 12th in points.
That's right.
We're not doing it. We're talking about the 3 or 4 guys compete for the championship, and everybody else is also ran, whether you like it or not. So I like it. And also, people want, in general now, they want to be entertained. They want to have instant gratification. They want the side-by-side battle for the win each and every week. And if they don't get it, right, then they're up in arms about it. And they want to change the car, tire, the whole thing else. So this kind of checks a lot of the boxes. Sure, if your guy doesn't win a race, doesn't make the playoffs, it's not like Austin Dillon has tried less hard for the last 23 races to win the championship. Like, those guys go to work every week, and it's just freaking hard to win a cup race. I've tried for a long time, couldn't do it. And if NASCAR sets the game board and says this is what you have to do to make the playoffs, then Tyler Reddick has had the same opportunity to do that. Alex Bowman has the same opportunity to do what Austin Dillon did, what SVG did, what Josh Berry did earlier in the season, but they haven't done it yet. Now, because they didn't execute for the first 23 races, now they have to wear the stress this week and go attack Daytona with the potential of missing the playoffs, even being top 10 in points.
I think my asterisk is real simple. If you're trying to run the best you can run every single week, then I don't care where you are in points. I think the top 30 thing was purely to protect when teams would just literally ride around, not even complete races, and then put full effort into maybe just the speedways or just the road courses. I don't see that in the garage anymore. with the business of NASCAR and the charter system and all the other BS that we're not going to get into here. They're trying all they can. I will say, though, another conversation we have on here is, best race you missed, and I hope they didn't miss it because we tried to cover it on the broadcast, but SVG ran 14th. And I will tell you that it takes about a 17th place average in points to advance out of the first round of the playoffs. He then has the Roval in the second round of the playoffs. I didn't give the 88 a big chance of advancing. I still think it's an uphill battle because Bristol is a challenge for him. But this is the first glimpse, Todd, that I can make an argument. If this is the SVG on the ovals we see, is he going to win an oval? No. He's still a long ways off. Like, these guys in front of him are really, really, really good. But he was in the mix. He was a whole tier higher than I have seen the 88 run.
Yeah,
So,
I thought they were impressive because, and the part I liked about it is that he wasn't afraid to do something different. He went up and kind of ran that top lane. I kind of joked about on the broadcast is that he's preparing for Darlington. He's up there at the wall, but I think he's putting this together. He's continuing to get better, and if he can put races like this together and execute through the first round, they've got a shot.
Yeah, 14th ties his best finish at Charlotte.
So hang on, quick comment, Stevie. So I'm with you. And also, nobody was as high as SVG was last night. That's like the Carl Edwards line back in the day. So I was loving seeing that because it is a particular style to figure out how to keep your rears attached running like that and keep your momentum. But I do disagree with you, Steve, on one hand about, sure, is he going to win an oval? Not in the next couple of weeks, but
I agree with that.
Well, like Richmond is between Richmond, Darlington, and Martinsville. Those are the three most technical places to drive a stock car, really and truly. It's without a doubt, we could all agree that SVG has elite car control, right? And he can feel the tire, and that guy is an exceptional race car driver. Let me just read a couple guys that finished behind him at Richmond after a pretty straightforward race, tire conservation, on and off pit road, have to do all the details right, stack pennies, if you will, all night long. Let me just read a couple guys. Carson Hocevar, we all know what he's able to do. Kyle Busch won 1 billion races. He run behind SVG. Ty Gibbs, Ross Chastain, Christopher Bell. Do I need to keep going? Right? Like, he didn't just pass these guys on new tires. Like, he rode in front of these guys most of the night. So I'm going to give SVG his flowers and say if he can get through that first round, Darlington, Bristol, I don't know where the other one is. What's the other race?
Gateway.
That'll be tough.
I don't think so. I think Gateway falls into a road course mentality of braking.
So hold on, I got a whole different feel. So I think that SVG, what happened at Richmond is where he's going to be better. I think tire conservation at Darlington, at Richmond, it goes back to what you were saying. I think the biggest struggle he has right now is getting to 99.9% of this tire grip at all the high-speed places because of the aero and because it's not because of talent, it's because of just laps. Like, where else do you do that in the world? Right?
It's foreign to him.
No, where else you do what he does. I think Richmond, Darlington, St. Louis, I actually agree with Utah with the braking and some of the shifting. I think
I think of McDowell being really good there.
What's that?
I think of McDowell being really good there. Like guys that can brake at limit, I think I don't know. I think
the problem is why he struggles at Bristol is because, and this is what I think we all want. Let's spin right into this. The race we saw. I'm going to give my flowers to Goodyear and to the competitors and to the fans for jumping up and down and saying it's not good enough because that's what moves the needle. And I'm going to tell you, Richmond goes from 2 races to 1, which I never see I never love to see a market lose a race, but I'm going to tell you it's never not worked. Michigan's 1 race, unbelievable. Pocono's 1 race, off the charts. New Hampshire used to be dwindled. I mean, Court, that's you and I love to go up to New England, right? New Hampshire, now unbelievable, sold out. Richmond, 1 race, sold out. It felt like I was at the Rock and Roll 400 back in like 98 when we used to race Rusty Wallace and Jeff Gordon. It had that feel. So I'm sorry, like let's not make it complicated. It was better. It was chaotic. And back to Bristol, like the Coliseum on the mountain, Bristol has to be great. Bristol's too badass. It's too important to the sport. The night race has too much history to not be great. So that's the next one that we better have circled, highlighted, exclamation pointed. Like, we better figure out Bristol because I don't know the ingredients. If I did, I wouldn't work the weekends, right? So I don't know the magic mix in the soup. But if we can put the magic mix together and make Bristol great, I think that's like another marquee event on the schedule.
Well, that creates a whole nother can of worms. Let's open, right? Because some of my favorite Bristol, some of everybody's, as a fan of sports, favorite Bristol memories are Terry Labonte, Dale Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace, Jeff Gordon, right? Like that came from a 1-lane racetrack, root and gouge. If I need to pass you, I'm getting in your left rear bumper. That's just how the only way you could pass at Bristol. Fans complained that it was 1 lane. So Marcus and Bruton, they listened. They made it a gradual, progressive bank. And then it became a multi-groove racetrack where nobody really got into each other or wrecked anymore. So it's like this full circle moment. Okay, what is a great race at Bristol? Some fans love the tire conservation, tires going down. I could take that. It's kind of fun, kind of interesting. You never know what's going to happen there. But then we're going to go, if we bring a softer tire, it's going to make the lap times way quicker. Minimum speed way higher. So your differentiate between end of the straightaway speed, middle of corner speed gives you less opportunity to move, create runs. So I don't know where to start with Bristol. It is a crown jewel race. Some people don't consider it as such, but if you haven't been to the Bristol Night Race, it is a special, special place. And you keep mentioning, SVG running. I think he can run top 20 there. I think he can get out of there with a decent run. You can make a case he can go the Elite 8. That'd be unbelievable.
Yeah, I agree with you. Because if he can make it through the first round, the Roval's the end of the second round. I mean, why wouldn't we believe that SVG could win another road course? He's done it 4 times. But you talk about Bristol, and I think about, and I agree with you, the 1-lane racetrack. And then we had 1 lane, but it was up at the wall. And then we decided to start spraying the bottom. I really liked it. Well, of course, I won 2 of them.
Yeah. Now we're getting. So, I was wondering when that was going to come
out. I'll put that out there.
Yeah.
I won.
And guess what?
14 and 50 night races. Yeah. But I like the fact that it over-rubbered. And Corey, you brought it up. If we bring a softer tire, which we had tire wear issues. I mean, the spring races we've seen that an outlier, but I don't know that a softer tire does it. But to your point, getting that 1 groove, it makes.
I think the magic is this. The magic is great racing is just like any great business. You have to give the fans what they want before they know they want it. I think change is the mix. I mean, I'm sorry. I like, can you improve a product? Yes. Do I think it's good enough? No. Like, we can get in the arguments. I think the golden light, the North Star, the beacon is it's never good enough. I didn't even think our great races are good enough. I think as an entertainment business, we as an industry, and I actually think this happens. I don't think it gets credit enough at times. I think a lot of people, a lot of the time, should be working on what's next, because if there isn't a what's next, then you're already behind. And that's whether you're selling tacos at the taco stand, fillets at the steakhouse, or racing on the racetrack. You have to be in front of the fans. All right, Corey, I'm going to let you go. But there is a new winner. We're going to say that's the rule of this game. There is a new winner at Daytona. Who is it?
Oh,
there's some good arguments out there. You've raced with most of them. That's why I want your vision.
Wasn't Buescher 2 years ago like the 11th hour winner 2 years ago?
He won 3.
Swept them all 3 in a row.
Yeah, he won Michigan, Richmond, Daytona.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give you Buescher, but he's below the line.
Buescher's down there.
I'll tell you this. Hopefully Paige and Brad welcome their 4th baby into the world this week, so he can pull them tight. Brad will be on a mission, and we know that he is not scared to put that thing wherever it needs to be to get in position. And spending a little bit of time in the lounge with those guys this weekend, a little bit of sim time because I was on baby watch for those guys. They are locked in, and we all know what that team can do at a speedway. And I have no doubt that Brad is going to put himself in whatever position necessary to get that 6th car in the championship. I would sprinkle a couple bucks on him if I could. The 6 will be dangerous, and I know they have the speed with those Roush Yates engines to make it happen.
All right, Todd, who's your new winner if we have one?
I would have gone the same place Corey did. I think Bullins and Brad are really putting things. They're back to that kind of 2020 chemistry they had. They should have won a championship in 2020. They had a poor pit stop that kept them from getting to the victory in Phoenix. They have that. They've gone through the pieces. I think it's checkers or wreckers for Brad. To Corey's point, I think he's that guy.
I'm going with such a long shot that I'm going to take 3, and it's a whole organization, and I'm going to say front row. Todd Gilliland, Noah Gragson, Zane Smith. I think the whole organization is young, it's aggressive, it's gelling. I just feel like if anybody's just going to throw caution to the wind, look, I don't know if they could do it. If any of us could, once again, we wouldn't work the weekends. But I think any one of those three standing on the roof of their car on the trial would be a heck of a story. A little bit of a Harrison Burton moment from a year ago. Corey, stacking pennies each and every week. You're in the truck, right? What else? What else am I missing? You're truck racing?
We're finishing the season at 77 truck, so it's been fun to work with Chad Walters. I think, Todd, you probably worked around him at some point in time.
Yep. Team Penske.
That's been fun to get in the trenches with him and that group, and we just got to make those things a little better. The 11 and the 34, those guys have some hot rods. So going to Darlington's one of my favorite racetracks. Ran 8th in the Southern 500 last year, so if we can just not hit the fence, not get a Darlington stripe, keep that thing straight, and hopefully contend for a couple wins the rest of that season. But yeah, stacking pennies every Monday. Got a couple good shows coming up. I believe there's some rumors about potentially the schedule being announced here in the next couple of weeks. So I'm excited to cover that, as we all are. And who knows who's going to pop by. But Todd, you do a great job on MRN. I always love listening to you. And Stevie, as always, you know what you're one of the best up there. So appreciate you guys having me on for a couple minutes.
All right, man. Thanks, Corey. Appreciate it. Corey LaJoie, truck racer, a podcaster, cup driver. He kind of does it all. We covered a lot there, Todd. I do think it's an interesting what makes a good race. Let's just take a snapshot at Richmond. I mean, just real quickly, what if the place was full?
Yep.
Are you
sold out?
This is how I'm going to start changing this question, because I don't like the "Are you a good race?" Was it a good race? Because I think you and I grew up in the sport, so I'm gonna couch it a different way. As a longtime NASCAR community member, when you left there, were you proud of what the sport delivered to the fans that bought tickets? Because I will tell you from the booth, I was. Like, I'm not going to argue whether it was a good race or passing, because I think that's a perception. I think if the industry leaves with pride of what happened.
Yeah.
And I when I looked out the window, I'm like, man, there's stuff happening everywhere. I don't know where to look. It could be a little confusing at times, which it can be much. But in the end, I was proud of the 400 laps that NASCAR put on.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know you were saying particularly Richmond. That's why I thought it was a deeper question. But for what it was, Richmond, because you're looking out. I mean, for us at MRN, I'm looking out the window, and I'm pointing out 2 or 3 different races that we can transition to, or we don't need to miss. You know, because we're talking about one, then it's like, wait, you got to pick up this one over here. Like, when you have those opportunities, I think that's entertainment. I think it's good for it. And I love the fact that we had change. You talked about it earlier. I don't care what we change. Whenever we change it, it's better. Now, it may get worse as the engineers and crew chiefs work their way through it. But when we have change, and this was a change, it was a tire change, and I think it brought it forward. To your point, Steve, I think if we just do the same next year, it's going to be less exciting because the crew chiefs will have had data points to work their way forward.
Yeah, and I agree. And look, I think there's a mix, and this is why I posed the question the way I did, because there are going to be races that the drivers don't love. There are going to be races that the fans don't love. There's going to be races that the crew chiefs don't love. But I think we just continue to strive for more, better, different each and every week. What else? Let's break down. You know what we didn't talk about? Let's talk about this one, and I want to talk about it because I think this is kind of what sealed the regular season. It was the big wreck that got the 9 of Chase Elliott at the end. Yeah. It looked like we were Daytona when it happened. It was really, we had a pretty clean race early. We see some spins here or there. There was 2, the one wreck got Reddick, and then the next wreck got the 9. But which one you want to show, D'Lo? I could do either. I could show either the Reddick wreck, which I purely put on.
That's just new tires, old tires. It's just contact, right?
Yeah, it ran out of patience. Like, I know that Suarez wants the 54 to go, and I'll be honest, in my mind, it's as simple as he moved the 54 out of the lane because he wanted to get going, not thinking he was going to move him into the 45. Like, I don't think he was like, you know, he wasn't like, hey, I'm going to get the 45 in this. He was like, I'm going to get the 54 out of my way because I have to get going.
Yes.
Which I like the aggression. Now, unfortunately, it got Reddick in the end.
Yeah. Yeah, it was one of those situations. I don't think that Daniel had any concept that this was going to take the 54 out. He was just trying to get him off the bottom. But when you're slip sliding around on no grip, it's just Ty Gibbs was kind of a victim and was a combination shot.
Yeah, that's the front bumper right there of the Ty Gibbs car. I agree with that. Well, then let's talk about the big one. It was Kyle, and we had Kyle turning Briscoe at the end of the backstretch, and it was a wreck that never seemed to stop wrecking.
I feel like Briscoe was thinking he was going inside the 5 and then checked up. And Kyle wasn't anticipating the checkup, and it wrecked everybody. What was 12 cars in it?
Oh, 12 cars. And then this Big hit by. So I equated it to like this, and we've all done it. Or I shouldn't say we've all. I've definitely done it. When you're passing somebody on a 2-lane road like an interstate, and you just go by with such pace that you just mentally know you've gone by the car. You don't even check your mirror because you were going 10 miles an hour faster. That's, I think, what just happened between the 8 and the 9, right? Like the 9 was gas up, saw clean track. He saw the 8, but I think he was like, I'm going by in such fury that it's going to be fine. But the 8 really wasn't stopped. The 8 was still rolling along. You see right here at a pretty good little clip after being in the wreck. And This is an absolute huge hit for Richmond. It was glad to see Chase was okay. How about this? He had run every single lap this year but one. Yeah. One lap is the only lap. Last week was the first time he had ran outside the top 20.
All year.
Which is shocking that it happened at Watkins Glen. Now he finally has this DNF. So I don't know if that should be an amazing stat or the fact that even then William Byron in the 24 beat him for the regular season title, which is a whole nother dirty road we're not going to go down when we talk about points and how it works. That's what I just said. The guy that's been super consistent all year didn't win the regular season title. So if you want to start counting points, right, like it's this crazy thing. I love what the 9's doing for consistency. I think he lacks some firepower, but a huge wreck right here, and it stacked everybody up.
And if you watch that, and D'Lo, I don't know if you can get back on that, but really, Briscoe had a run on the 5 car of Larson, and he's coming off here. He's got the 8 behind him. Briscoe makes the move to the bottom, and at this point, Briscoe's making a move, and I think Kyle Busch is like, I'm following him through. But then Briscoe's, I can't do it, and you saw the fire out of the pipes.
Yep.
Checks him up, and I don't think Kyle Busch he thought he was committing to it, and when he didn't, that started the whole wreck.
And what I think is crazy is look at all the cars in the wreck and then look at the finishing order. I mean, I don't think the 8 even came to pit road. He just like, no, I'm going to stay on out, beating and bagging, pushing and shoving. That was probably the big moment of the race for the 9 and for the Reddick. I don't know if we have, D'Lo, we probably don't have the 23 pit stop, do we? Because I guess we didn't talk about Bubba Wallace, but the pit road issue is what ended Bubba Wallace's day. He basically drove off. The left front came off. He stopped in the 19 pit box. They did a nice job of putting the wheel on for him, but it's pitting outside the box. Oh, yeah, I knew. Look at this. D'Lo has it. Right here, boom, leaves. You see the sparks. He's trying to hit a lug nut. It's as simple as that, this is a great shot right here. So just watch this. Jackman's up. He hangs the rear tire, which takes his attention. Then he comes back with one hand. So if we play that one again, how does this happen?
The front tire changer has a challenge getting a tire out, and that changes the timing.
That's right. And the Jackman, he hangs the tire. Look, his back is to the front. Look at the Jackman. Like, we don't talk about with 5 guys and this dual-purpose guy, the Jackman doesn't just jack it up. Remember in the old day, he would look front and back, and drop the jack. Well, he is doing his own job. So he has no idea the efficiency of this left front tire change. So if we roll it forward right there, they have a little bit of trouble with the hang. I think it's really hard to tell from here. And I think he had either trouble with the hang or trouble with the nut going on. I can't tell from this angle, but it wasn't smooth. And very simply, if you want to have sub 10-second pit stops, you don't have time to double check.
Yeah.
Right? Like
and you look at that, the front changer, he kind of checks up on pulling the tire, which puts the carrier behind. But I think the Jackman's looking back forward and he sees the changer's gun going in and assumes, you don't have 8.5-second pit stops without just assuming. And that's what he's got to do. He's looking at that saying, we're good, but we're not.
And I'm going to I'm going to give credit to my buddy and the director, Sean Owens. That camera is some addition they've put. That's up on the light post shooting down on the pit stop. It's just a great video. That's how you and I are used to seeing pit stops because that's how the teams looked at them as well. And then a little bit of heads up work by the 19 to help their buddy out. But unfortunately, the damage was done. All right. Then there was one. We head to the high banks, Daytona. I personally love that we start and end the regular season at Daytona. I think Daytona is the perfect cut race because it used to be Richmond, it used to be some other places. And look, we'd be going there going, man, who could really win?
Yep.
The truth is at Daytona, anyone is a factual statement. I don't think anyone has the same chance, but we have real drivers, real guys. Like, let's just put real names to it. I know we took picks, but Brad Kay could absolutely win. He right here in this. Look. We have the 38 of Todd Gillon and the 34. So we have 2 front row cars running up front, right? Then
Yes.
right behind them is the 6 of Brad Keselowski. I mean, look at this. Look at the line we currently have. You have Ricky Stenhouse somewhere in this mix. He could absolutely win. Noah Gregson's in that 4 right there in the middle. When you talk about that, I'll even throw the legacy cars in. Eric Jones, we don't talk about him. He could win at Daytona.
There are 8 Speedway winners below the cut line.
8
Speedway winners.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it's going to be on Saturday night under the lights on NBC. It's we start the season Daytona 500 on Fox. We end the regular season Daytona, or I guess I call it the Coke Zero, but the night race, the 400. It's just such a great race to finish on. And to be honest,
I need to fix my number. It's 9 actually, because Chris Buescher's back there too.
Oh, there you go. You had 25 weeks for this not to matter, right? You had 25 weeks to be like, hey, I don't need to race my win at Daytona. Man, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be right. Real quick, let's clean it up. Fastest lap. Who do we have from Richmond? I always forget this fastest lap. I'm not a big fan of it.
Oh, I had it up too. I think it was Bubba Wallace, actually.
Oh, see? What could have been, should have been, might have happened.
Bubba Wallace with a 22.961 second lap time.
There you go. Bubba Wallace with the fastest. Man, I guess that's the one question mark leaving Richmond is what could have been for 23-11.
They won both stages.
Man, they were
45 won one, the 23 won the other. I think they were the 2 best cars.
And in the end,
yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, and in the end, Austin Dillon.
Yes. The interesting part is I look through the lap times, and Racing Insights gives us great information. Austin Dillon had the second fastest lap, and I wouldn't have pegged him for being fast. I would have pegged him for longevity.
Yeah. Well, they had it all. All right. Well, with that point in the season, I love it. One more in the playoffs are here, and then I hate to say it, but Corey's a little right. Like once you kind of get in the playoffs, there's 16 guys to really focus on. It's that time of the year. There's nothing like the postseason. Todd, week in and week out, you're on your radio show, right?
Yeah. Yep. Monday to Tuesday nights on Sirius, and we do a thing on Crew Call. We'll have Chris Gapehart this week, and I'm around.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And then you're going to Daytona, right? Am I right?
I am not. I'll be in Darlington.
Week off.
Yeah, I get a week off. Rusty Wallace will be covering the color down there in Daytona.
Oh, I love to have nothing like a Hall of Famer joining the booth. That'll be a fun listen. And like I said, we've been on USA, but we're moving over to NBC. It's going to be on the big network, NBC Sports, Saturday night. The last race of the regular season will be on. Tune in to see if we get another winner. And I know for sure, winner or no winner, we will set the playoff field. Appreciate y'all joining us. Appreciate all the chats. Remember, as always, anywhere you get your podcast, this is also available on podcast. You could subscribe, rate, and review. And we're here after every single race with NASCAR Inside the Race Live. And tune in throughout the weeks with some more additional content. We'll keep posting. We got a lot of cool stuff coming up around the corner. Todd, appreciate the time.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
Austin Dillon in the playoffs. It was a great race at Richmond. Thanks, guys.